Hey, everybody. I had a great webinar this morning on becoming the architect of leverage, specifically directed towards Rise Platinum Partners members, but really any real estate agent, or for that matter, any business owner could be using the techniques I'm about to talk about. When I did the webinar this morning, I got on there early and I noticed that the recording was going and I paused it, or I thought I paused it, but what happened was that I actually shut it off and I thought I turned it back on, but the webinar wasn't recorded. So I'm going to go through this whole thing again and record this, get it uploaded, and then try and get it out to everybody that was there. You're absolutely welcome to get it to anybody you think could get some use out of it. So, when I was at the Rise Platinum Partners live event in St. George in October, I met many of you, if not all of you. And my presentation was really based on real estate and the future of real estate using AI. And prior to me doing the presentation, I got a list of questions that were being peppered at Ryan about, hey, I want to learn how to create a digital twin, or there was several different questions that were kind of thrown at him that people would like an answer to. And when I did my presentation, Ryan was kind enough to ask me to speak to everybody. I made it a point to try and impress upon all of you that are extremely high producing business people, real estate agents specifically, who often don't have an extra 15 minutes to a half hour each day to not dive into the minutia of learning these different AI programs because they become irrelevant very quickly. They're constantly being leapfrogged. Um, at the time, what I mentioned to you is that I would like to see you guys use AI to help you become the architect of leverage. And here's what I mean by that. When I am thinking about big problems, I'm constantly having this battle in my head or a conversation in my head. It's a debate. It's a debate of here's what I want to do. What are the things that are standing in my way? What are some of the solutions to the problems that I'm having? And I find myself, it sounds silly, but you might be able to relate, but it's almost like an argument with myself. The problem is that, I mean, I do come across some times where I'll reach a logical conclusion based on this debate that's going on in my head, but I'm limited to the knowledge that's in my head whenever I'm having this debate, which puts me at a disadvantage. Now that we have AI, we have the world's information at our fingertips. I'm sure that most of you have been on ChatGPT or one of these platforms and you're talking to it. You're trying to figure out maybe the solution to something. Maybe it's just as simple as, finding a great restaurant to eat at, but you're interacting with AI. AI is evolving. ChatGPT is not the same that it was, when ChatGPT 3 came out, 3+ years ago. When I was in at Rise Live, I mentioned that ChatGPT, the latest version that had just come out, people weren't getting the same responses. Well, that's because it was evolving, and the way you were prompting it before wasn't getting the same results. The other problem is that with ChatGPT, they have a limited amount of tokens and the tokens is the measure of value that they place on memory. So you only get so many tokens with ChatGPT, and it starts discarding old knowledge about you. So what you might have been talking about, 2 years ago, you'll find it doesn't remember any of that anymore. It's because it's limited on the tokens that it can use. It used to remember everything. It was the greatest thing in the world. When I first started using it, I would, have a conversation with it and I would say, and it would remind me of something that we talked about a month ago, but it stopped doing that. So what we started doing was creating custom GPTs. And in these custom GPTs, it would silo that conversation or that particular subject that we were talking about, and it would remember a lot more of those conversations by using that custom GPT. And it sounded very, you know, like it was tough, but it was really easy to put together a custom GPT. I am of the belief that Google is going to win the whole shooting match when everything is said and done. And I'll tell you why. Google has been around longer than any of these other companies and has more data about all of us than any other technology company in the world because we've all used Google search, right? It's tracking where we're going, what we're interested in, what we've bookmarked, our own digital presence. So Google has these incredible amounts of data. Google also manufactures their own chips, which is completely different. Whether it's ChatGPT or Claude, they are all buying their chips from either NVIDIA or TSMC. And because they don't actually manufacture their own chips, they're at a disadvantage over Google. Now, the other thing that Google has is they have these massive data centers. I'm talking about buildings longer than several football fields of computers that are processing data. The only other company that is coming close to them is xAI because Elon has been building his own chips and also building his own data centers, but it still doesn't compare to what Google has been doing. Google, I felt like was asleep at the wheel there when large language models first became a thing. It didn't seem like they were doing anything, and it actually what turned out was they were looking to take over the whole thing, and they were doing it in many, many different ways. And I'm going to show you a few of those ways in a minute. But getting back to what we're going to talk about today and like the conversation within my head about planning and ideas that I have to grow the business or ideas I have about curriculum or ideas that I have about AI. Often what will happen is I'll have a great idea and I'll go, God, I got to remember that. Maybe I'll even make a note for myself somewhere. And then the next day or the next week, I can't remember what I did with the note and I don't even remember what the idea is. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. In fact, I know it's because I'm getting older, but also because my brain, is constantly being bombarded with new information that I find fascinating. And so, my brain is kind of siloing that information and the important things, maybe I'll remember. The ideas, maybe not. So it's putting me at a disadvantage as far as the memory goes. Well, that's ChatGPT was really good before at helping with that memory issue. But today, I find that we now believe when I'm saying this also, I just want you to know that my entire team with Ava, soon to be Exponential Systems Support or EXO, we have a ChatGPT Teams account. Everyone in my company has their own ChatGPT where they can make custom GPTs, and I'll continue to get that for them as long as they need it. But I'm trying to push everybody over into the Google workspace because Google, they are incredible at not only keeping all of your data and never getting rid of it. There's 2 million tokens that you have in Gemini, which is, as big as a library practically of information that it will store. Google also has the Google Workspace with Google Docs, Google Drive. I'm going to show you a bunch of different tools that Google has here in a minute. But they are looking at the AI from soup to nuts, from the beginning until the end, and they are constantly adding more tools. They're not charging any more for it, and they're incredible at siloing different tasks. So I'm going to. I believe that the future of being the architect of leverage is being able to use the tools I'm about to show you to do very high level thinking, right? So like if you are, a realtor in what we used Stephanie in the webinar earlier that in Mesquite, Nevada. She's killing it. If she wanted to do more business, she can use these tools to do more business. She can use these tools also to do less work. And this is key, right? Sorry, let me take a drink. If you can reduce the amount of work that it takes to perform a task, therefore do more, why in the heck wouldn't you want to do that, right? So uh, I believe that Google has got this handled, and I think it's just a fraction of what's to come. The AI has never been it's never going to be as dumb as it is as today, meaning every day it's getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And we anticipate that this is going to continue. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to just first start out by showing you some of the tools that Google gives us to be able to be these architects of leverage. So if you, most of us have Google as our search engine, right? Chrome, sorry, and Google as our search engine. Chrome is our platform. If you go over here to the dots, you'll see that these are all the different tools that Google gives us in our workspace. We've got Gemini, Business Profile Manager, NotebookLM, admin, docs, photos, password manager, sheets, which is like Excel, slides, which is like PowerPoint, chat, forms, Vault. And you go down here and we get even more. So the one we're going to focus on today is going to be Gemini and NotebookLM. So just so you know that you can move these around. I move them around based on the amount of use that I get out of it. So NotebookLM, I think, was probably down here somewhere. And I just grabbed it and then I just moved it up and I continued to move it up until it got into the place where I wanted it up here. Okay, so this is how you access all the different Google tools that they have. Hopefully, you guys all have a workspace account. We're going to move away from this and we're going to go to Gemini and I'm going to show you what I consider to be my second brain. So I look at these tools that I'm about to show you as if it was my PhD level partner. This is instead of me having these conversations in my head, why not take that conversation and bring it to the smartest, most capable tool that I could possibly find, which I believe right now is Gemini. So Gemini is going to help me work through problems, but you have to look at Gemini kind of like it's the world's greatest library, right? When we were young, we had to go to the public library. There was, thousands of books. The only way you were going to find a book was you went to and looked at the Dewey Decimal thing and you grabbed the card and it told you where to find that book. And then you would stumble around and find the book. Well, today, in order to find information, I mean, Gemini will help you find that information, but in order for it not to hallucinate and for it to stay focused on a particular project, the best thing to do is to create what's called a notebook. So with the Google Notebook, Notebook LM, again, you can find it right here like this. When you guys go to it, if you don't have any of these notebooks in here, the first thing you're going to see is this, create a new notebook. Now, I already created some notebooks prior to this meeting because I wanted to show you guys the power of this tool. So when you open up a notebook, it's going to be, again, blank. You're not going to see anything here. But what I usually will do is I'll go over to Gemini and I'll grab a new chat and I'll say, okay, so I just basically said, hey, I'm going to create a notebook LM on Mesquite, Nevada, benefits of living there. Oh, give me a prompt for the special instructions. Okay, so this should be pretty easy, pretty simple. It's going to come in here. and it's going to give me some special instructions. Okay, now I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in a minute. But I also want you to understand that with Gemini, like I'm going to admit something to you guys that not a lot of people know about me. I have severe ADHD. When I see, a list of things to read that are 5 paragraphs long, I start panicking. I want things in small bites. So I will often come in here and start talking to Gemini, and it will start giving me these incredibly long answers. And I'll say, wait a minute. Remember, I have ADHD. I like things in small bites. And it will say, here's an ADHD friendly response. Now, if I need instructions, I will say, I need step-by-step instructions. Here's what I want to do, and it will do this for me. Like if you don't remember any of this, what I'm showing in this video today, all you would have to do is go into a new chat and then tell Gemini, I want to create a notebook LM for a project that I'm doing. Give me step-by-step instructions, and it will do that. In fact, let's do this right here. Let's do a new chat, and let's say that very same thing. I want to create a notebook LM, and I am a beginner. Please give me, I'm going to put ADHD, oops, friendly instructions on creating this. Boom. Okay, so you'll see. Welcome to the world of Notebook LM. I think of this as a personal research assistant. Step one, grand opening. Go to notebooklm.google. That's where I showed you guys how to do that. It looks clean, empty desk. Click the big plus icon that says new notebook. So this is what I was showing you guys here, new notebook, okay? Um, So, anyways, it will give you literally step-by-step instructions if you don't remember any of this on exactly how to do this. Now, let's go back to the prior uh, information that I asked for. I said I wanted it to give me some special instructions for this notebook. So I'm going to go and I'm going to copy that, Control C. Now, uh, when you're creating a new notebook, in fact, you know what? I'm going to create a brand new one for Mesquite, Nevada. So let's go in here. Let's do it from scratch. Right. So the first thing we do is we name it, right? Now, there's no sources. This has nothing in it. This is a blank slate. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to add sources. Now, if this was, if you already had sources on Mesquite, Nevada, then you could take those PDFs, you could even take a video, and you could add this as a part of your sources. So always also go with deep research if you can. But if you have files, you would upload it here. You just click that and it would allow you to upload files. There you go. If you have a website, you could just copy and paste the website on any links that you have. Um, and then also, if you've got a Google Drive folder all about whatever it is you're planning, if you've got it in shared drives, you can go to your shared drives and pick out whatever document that you want it to use as a source. And then also, if you find an article somewhere, let's say you don't want the whole article in there, you just want to copy a part of it, you just click copy text, and you paste it there. Okay. But if you don't have any of those things, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go over here and you're going to want to, first thing you're going to want to do is click deep research. Then you're going to want to take this, the prompt that it gave me. Let's see, economic benefits, detail advantage. Yeah, let's hold off on that one. Let's go back here and let's put in, I would like for you to find the best, not the best typist either, um, source information on Mesquite, Nevada. Please do not give me opinion pieces because I don't want like some Reddit nonsense to come in there. Um, Only give me expert opinions. Please do not, let's see, please do not give me standard opinions pieces like on Reddit. Right. Only give me expert opinions. Please give me sources that highlight all of the reasons why someone would love to live there. Also, feel free to check the census records. All right, so deep research. We've got a pretty decent prompt basically saying, don't give me a bunch of garbage. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. And we got it on deep research. Let's go ahead and hit it. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to start scanning the internet for information. While we're waiting for that, I'll go back over to the other notebook that I created for Mesquite, and you'll see some of the other research that was created. So, Mesquite City Charter was one, meetings and agendas was another, Mesquite, Nevada, Date USA. Um, let's go over here. Well, since I'm here, I'll ask it. Are there any sources here that could be eliminated? Now, you're just asking it, look at the sources over here. Is there anything in here that you think isn't valuable? And we'll see what it says. Let's go back here. Well, it's still doing its thinking for us. Now you notice that it is, okay, so this is saying delete meetings and agendas. Source three, reason, document acts merely as a digital signpost. Delete Mesquite, Nevada data USA. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove this. And we're going to remove, uh, what was the first one? Meetings and agendas. Now this one right here, this comprehensive one, this is the one that I asked it, when I did the my prompt in here asking it to get information. Um, delete Mesquite, Nevada, meetings and agendas, and then also, so it's saying that the comprehensive analysis that Notebook did for me has just about everything that I would want in it, including economics, housing, historian's verdict. Um, so it's saying that I should keep the city charter and the comprehensive analysis. So you can talk to it, if you don't know something, just type it in here and it'll help guide you to having the perfect notebook. Okay, so it's analyzing the results right now. Once I finish this, we're going to skip back to this old one to try and save time. But we'll go ahead and this is important because I think this also is going to save you a lot of time. Okay, let's do this. While we're waiting for this, I'm going to go over here. So this is all of the data that I collected for this Mastering Notebook LM. This is designed, specifically for this webinar that I did today. And you'll notice over here, there's a bunch of functionality. Now, when Notebook LM first started, people thought it was just, hey, it's a cool tool to, put in there and you can create these like podcast style conversations with it. Um, I was one of those people. I had no idea that this was going to be the linchpin to everything that Google has planned. And I'm telling you right now, we have no idea just how important this is going to be in the future. So I really encourage you to use this like it is your second brain. Let's go over here and just real quick, let's listen to the podcast. You'll notice that this is one that I already created. I went in here on the audio overview. I gave it a specific special instructions, what I wanted it to focus on. And in this case, I wanted it to focus on the beginners, is what I asked it to do. So you can create your own prompt over in Gemini for this if you want to, or you can just put, hey, this is what I'm creating this for my teammates. Please make this instructional, and then it will create this audio. You'll click that tab, and then once you do that, you'll see that this will come down and you'll see it kind of generating, right? It takes a little bit for it to do that. But once it does, you'll see that there's a little hand here. This is an interactive mode for Notebook LM. So I'm going to push this and just give you an idea of how this works.
Welcome back to the deep dive. It is Jay.
Let's share the sound.
January 31st, 2026. And if you've been following the tech headlines this week, you've probably noticed a shift.
Mm-hmm.
We aren't really talking about chatbots anymore. The buzzword has changed. It feels like we've graduated to something else.
We definitely have. The conversation has moved on to cognitive engines, and today we're looking at the one that has just, quietly taken over the workspace, Notebook LM.
Now, I have to be honest. When I saw the topic, my first thought was, wait, isn't that just Google's note-taking app from a few years ago?
Yeah, a lot of people think that.
I remember playing with it back in 2024. It was cool, but it felt like, I don't know, a utility, a place to dump my PDFs.
And that's the danger. Calling Notebook LM a note-taking app in 2020.
So now I'm going to pause this just because I want to talk to you. There's an aspect on here where it allows you to ask questions. So let's go back to it, and then I'm going to ask it a few questions.
6 is like calling a smartphone a pocket.
Oh, hey there, how can we help?
Yeah, I'm in a webinar with some of the top realtors in the country, and I'm trying to teach them how to use Notebook LM to be, for lack of a better term, their second brain. Where Notebook LM could house all of the information on a specific project. Maybe it's on the financial growth of their business. Maybe it's on organization of their teams. Maybe it's on follow-up with their clients. But can you just kind of go over the why a realtor, a top realtor would want to use Notebook LM?
That is a phenomenal question.
That is exactly the right level of thinking.
And honestly, it gets right to the heart of why this tool has become a cognitive engine.
Yeah, we're not talking about general knowledge here.
We're talking about institutional knowledge protection.
That's the key term.
For a top realtor, their value is in their specific curated knowledge.
It's not just knowing the market price.
Exactly. It's knowing why that specific house failed inspection 3 years ago.
Or which specific client only likes properties with walk-in pantries.
Think of it this way. Realtors have huge volumes of unstructured data.
PDFs of disclosures, meeting notes from client interviews.
Internal team strategy documents on financial growth, as you mentioned.
That information is scattered everywhere.
NotebookLM brings that into a secure walled garden just for their business.
The AI isn't hallucinating.
It's grounded in their truth, their client notes, their market data.
So instead of manually searching for a document about a specific property,
They upload all their notes into a team strategy notebook.
and they can ask the AI.
Okay, so you guys get the idea. You can interact, and it's going to, answer your questions, guide you, give you the pros and cons, whatever you'd like. So prior to us having the webinar this morning, I came in and I did the same thing with the video overview. I gave it some custom instructions, and this is the video that it created for me. I'm going to play the whole thing for you. It's not that long, but I think it really elucidates the power of Notebook LM. All right, here we go.
There's a quiet revolution happening right now. It's not out in the world. It's actually happening inside our own heads. We're right on the edge of this massive shift in how we think, how we process things, and how we make decisions. We're moving away from the messy, chaotic limits of our own memory to a powerful new kind of partnership with AI.
Think about it. For generations, making a big decision has felt like this internal wrestling match, right? We've had to rely on our biological memory, this jumble of scattered notes, and let's be honest, the very real risk of just making stuff up or misremembering. But this new way is emerging. It's built on something called grounded truth, from sources that you've personally chosen and trust. Every single insight is tied directly back to a verifiable citation. This isn't just a small upgrade, it's a completely new architecture for how we think.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about the problem, the limits of our own memory. Then we'll get into the solution, building your own private walled garden of knowledge. From there, we'll see how AI becomes a true research partner and how you can turn those insights into real-world impact. And finally, we'll zoom out and look at what all this means for the very future of expertise itself. All right, let's start with a truth I think we can all relate to. When you're trying to solve a really complex problem, what does it feel like inside your head? For most of us, it's like a chaotic room, a tangled knot of facts, ideas, and things you think you remember. The thing is, our brains just weren't designed to be hard drives. We are incredible at creativity and making intuitive leaps, but we're not so great at holding on to thousands of data points with perfect, instant recall. The result? That vital piece of information gets lost, we miss a crucial connection, and we end up basically arguing with ourselves based on incomplete, fuzzy data. So if that internal chaos is the problem, what's the alternative? Well, it's this idea of building a walled garden for your information. A secure, perfectly organized, and totally private space where the information you curate becomes the one and only source of truth. And the key technology that makes this whole thing work is called source grounding. It's a really simple but profound concept. The AI is basically forbidden from just going out and searching the open internet. Instead, it can only read from the specific documents you give it. Think of it like a brilliant researcher who can only use the books you've placed in your own private library. This is what guarantees every single answer is accurate, verifiable, and completely free from making things up. This all leads to this really powerful, yet simple three-step framework. First, you curate. You build that foundation of trusted documents. Second, you learn. You start asking questions and engaging with that knowledge base. And finally, you act. You transform all those new insights into real, tangible things, like reports and presentations. And let's be clear, we're not talking about a small project here. The sheer capacity of this walled garden is just massive. I mean, look at this. A pro account can hold 300 different sources. And each one of those can be 500,000 words long. This is a total game changer, because it means you can feed it an entire corporate archive, or a full semester's worth of dense research papers, or every draft of your novel, and the AI can make sense of it all. It scales from a personal notebook to a full-on enterprise brain.
Okay, so once you have that grounded knowledge base, the AI stops feeling like just a tool and it becomes something more. It becomes an active partner in your work, a colleague who has perfect memory and is ready to go 24/7.
I love this quote because it just captures the feeling perfectly. It's not just you against the problem anymore. It's you directing a partner who has instantly read and understood every single document you've ever said was important and is ready to help you find those connections you might have missed on your own. And get this partner can do more than just read what you've already given it. It can actually go out and find what you're missing. With fast research, it'll do a quick scan of the web for some high-quality sources to give you an overview. But with deep research, it becomes a true agent, conducting this thorough multi-step investigation and coming back to you with a full, synthesized report.
Just to put that into perspective, a single deep research query can analyze over 70 different websites, patents, and articles. It takes a task that would take a human researcher, 4 to 8 hours, and compresses it down into just a few minutes. That is a massive force multiplier for a single person. The partnership even changes how you learn from your material. You can ask the AI to generate a podcast-style discussion about your sources. But here's the real breakthrough, the killer app feature. You can actually pause the AI hosts, click a join button, and ask your own follow-up question. It literally transforms passive listening into an active Socratic dialogue with your own documents. It's incredible.
Okay, so you've built your knowledge base, you've used your AI partner to find these incredible insights. But, so what? How do you turn all that raw knowledge into real-world impact? This is where we shift from research to creation.
Let's start with a situation we've all been in. You've got this messy meeting transcript. It's packed with valuable information, action items, deadlines, who's responsible for what, but it is a total unstructured mess. Trying to pull value out of this by hand is tedious and, frankly, super easy to mess up.
But with a single prompt, you can ask the AI to scan that messy text, and boom, it instantly restructures everything into a clean, actionable data table. It pulls out the task, the owner, the priority, and it even cites the exact source. It just transforms chaos into crystal clarity in seconds. All right, let's raise the stakes. You've done the deep dive, you have the key insights that could change everything, but your boss needs a briefing immediately. You've got 5 minutes. There is absolutely no time to build a presentation from scratch.
And you don't have to. The system can generate a complete, logically structured slide deck outline based on all of your grounded research. It creates the entire narrative arc for you, from the core challenge all the way to the final recommendations. It collapses what could be hours of painful work into a single click. So, when you put all of this together, the grounded truth, the AI partner, the instant creation tools, it starts pointing to a much bigger shift. It's changing the very definition of what it even means to be an expert in the first place.
And this shift is happening unbelievably fast. In less than 3 years, this technology went from something called Project Tailwind, which was basically a note-taking experiment, into a full-blown cognitive engine. The key inflection points here were the move to professional use and the integration of next-gen AI models, which took it from just a passive organizer to an active partner in reasoning and creation. This isn't just a product getting better, it's a whole new category of tool being born right before our eyes.
And this really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. The skills that used to define expertise, memorizing a ton of facts, manually finding information, they are rapidly losing their value. The new high-value skills are all about orchestration. It's about being the person who can ask great questions, who can curate excellent sources, and who can direct this powerful engine to synthesize all that information into a winning strategy. So I'll leave you with this thought. For centuries, humanity has been limited by the processing power of our own biological hardware. But now, for the first time, that limit is being removed. So the question is, when you have a partner that never gets tired, never forgets a single detail, and has perfectly read everything you've ever told it to, what big, complex, world-changing problems could you finally go out and solve? What becomes possible for you?
So I don't know how you guys feel, but I mean, I know that it was a little long, but it's amazing that it can take all of this information and put it into a video that I can share with my team. One of the things I wanted to show you that when you're creating the video and you click the little pencil there, it gives you a choice of the styles that you want. You know, they're all pretty elementary right now. I like the anime, the one that you just saw, because it's probably the most colorful. I expect that they're going to get a lot better. I think that you're going to see styles that are going to become even more realistic. And then down below here is where you can put in your special instructions of exactly what you want that video to focus on. So I just wanted to show that to you before I forgot about it. Now, the other thing it can do, yeah, what I would suggest that you do, I mean, if we go over and we look at, let's open up a new tab. So you can see I've got just tons and tons of, and I just deleted half of these. Every time I get a new project, I put together a new notebook. And the same thing, you guys can do the same thing. If you are creating a notebook, let's say specific for to marketing. You want to have your marketing notebook. And I got together with another of the platinum partners and was showing. I don't think she would mind me saying. I was showing Heather this, and there was a specific podcast that she listened to, and she really wanted to get that information from the podcast and to try and do something about it. So I created a notebook with her while she was on with me. The problem was is that um, Apple does not give you the transcripts of podcasts, but YouTube does. YouTube, you go to any YouTube video and it'll have the transcript, but you can also copy that link from that YouTube and put it into a notebook as one of the sources by just going here, clicking websites, and then pasting the link of the website. So instead of trying to like, I didn't honestly don't have the time, and I didn't have the time to listen to the whole podcast. I wanted the data, the transcript, so I can synthesize it and make sense of it, and then have AI help me to understand it and how to execute on it. So we went in there and we created a notebook, and then we created a gem specifically for notebooks. So ChatGPT has the custom GPTs. Gemini has gems. That'll be a different webinar that I'll do all about the gems. But I also went here and I created a mind map. Oh shoot, I already created one. So let's go to the one that we started. So let's say that you're throwing an event and you need to know everything that you can about that event, what you need, how many people are coming, the guest list, the who the caterers are, whatever it might be. You create a notebook for that, and you come and you just expound on each one of these in this mind map. And it tells you every time you see an arrow, it means it'll go even deeper. So when you go here, you can actually click on it, and it will tell you the YouTube transcripts, or whatever it is that you happen to be clicking on. And then you can also, uh, let's see, I'm going to keep expounding on this just to show you how deep it goes. So, I mean, guys, I can't even tell you how long this would have taken me to even do a mind map because of the amount of work and information that it goes into it. NotebookLM did this in a matter of minutes. The other thing that we created was uh, these were notes for the script for my presentation today. So I asked it, I said, give me a script. And it created it for me, and I saved it as a note. Um, and then also, let's see, we also created a slide deck, again, in minutes. not this isn't, the most beautiful thing that in fact my team does a way better job at creating slides, but it's completely thorough. If you needed to do a presentation, and you already had a notebook already planned or already configured, going in there and getting it to create slides for you is a piece of cake. It would take you minutes. Um, we also have, let's see, I think this is a graphic. Yeah. So this is a graphic that it created all from the notebook that I just created for NotebookLM, talking about the walled garden and talking about 10 minutes of synthesis and interactive audio and video, telling you how many words per limit there are on the words. Um, yeah, so we've got audio, we've got video, we've got mind maps, we've got flashcards, we've got quizzes. I mean, if you have a team and you're wanting to, teach them something, creating a notebook and then, giving them a video and maybe an audio that they can interact with to really understand the concepts you're trying to get through, and then have them, go through and create flashcards and then also quizzes, um, slide deck. It'll also do data tables. I mean, this is all in a matter of minutes. It's just about setting this thing up the right way. So the last thing that I want to show you, if we go back here, actually not the last thing, but um, let's go over here to the new notebook that we had that we were creating uh, on Mesquite. Now, the first thing I want you to see is that there are 46 sources that it came up with. Now, I'm telling you guys, you do not want to import 46 sources because it's just going to create a bunch of noise. And then it's going to, the next thing I'm going to do is ask it, hey, should I delete any of these sources? And you have to delete the sources one by one. So when you see this, just go up here and go view. You'll see that it's got all of these sources down here, but you'll notice up here, it's got the comprehensive stratigraphic and socioeconomic analysis of Mesquite. So you're going to click this button here. That's going to get rid of all these bottom sources. You're going to keep that one there and you're going to go import. Now it's going to give you this incredible knowledge base all about Mesquite. And then you can go in there and you can, create your audio, video, and all this. But the one thing that I recommend that you do is to take that, remember I asked for custom instructions, is to go over here to this new notebook. You're going to go up here and you're going to see that it's going to give you, a way to configure this. If you go to custom, it allows you to put in those custom instructions that I just copied. And then I always keep it on default. If you want it longer or shorter, knock yourself out. But so now it's got custom instructions. It's got an incredible amount of resources here. And then it's just a matter of going in and, creating an audio. If you'd like to listen to it in your car, the podcast style. This is really helpful when you come up with a lot of really big studies. Like, for instance, Google came out with a 2026 prompt guide. My God, I mean, this thing was just massive. And so instead of me trying to read the Google prompt guide, I created a Google prompt notebook LM. I put that PDF guide in here as one of the sources, and then I created an audio interview and it explained everything to me. And it allowed me to ask questions like if I was talking directly to that guide. So it's incredibly powerful. Um, let's see, one last thing. The other thing I want to show you is that once you have a notebook like this created, if you go in here to Gemini, let's see, just start a new chat. So if you actually, we may need to ask it a question here. Let's see. I want to get deeper on Notebook LM for newbies. Just put that in there. And it's going to come up with a bunch of stuff for us to read, core workflow, three-step framework, yada, yada, yada. But now if you go in here, just type the @ sign, okay? So you're going to go in here. I'm going to push Shift. I'm going to type the @ sign and boom. You can access all of these different things within the Google space just by clicking that @ sign. Okay. So you can also tell it, do you want it to think more? Let's see. At Do you want to connect it to a Google Drive? Do you want to connect it to your Google Calendar? Do you want to connect it to your workspace? So it's just got a ton of different things that you can do. It also, if you have Salesforce, it'll connect to that. MailChimp, HubSpot, Asana. Um, and it will be able to communicate directly through that source for you just by typing that @ sign right there. So again, I told you, I'll show you this at another time, but these are the gems. So it's very easy to create a gem. You just click right here, start a new gem, but you can see that I have gems. I'm creating them for just about everything that we have, including I've got Reserve 76 Strategist here because I believe that this was done to, yeah, so this was one that I started, but I did not finish it, or else it would have had more information. But here's the prompt architect that I just told you about. So you can see that I have the Gemini for Google Workspace prompting guide, the generative AI on Vertex AI, which is an agentic AI that Google's coming out with, and then also prompt design strategies for Gemini. So I added this as the knowledge base, right? As the prompt architect. So if I do want a prompt, I can come right here, click it, and I could say, I need a great prompt. Oops. How about I need a great prompt at typing? Prompt for the, let's see, for creating a notebook LM for Park City, Utah. I want a complete source for all of the reasons someone would want to live there. Now it's going to use that all of those knowledge bases that I told you about, and it's going to give me a prompt. So then I would take that prompt, I would go over, create a notebook, and I would put that in the area. So it's giving me it's actually it's saying, so they analyze the request against the 4 pillars affecting persona, task, context, and format. Notebook is a source grounded tool. It doesn't just need a list of reasons to live in Park City. It needs a source strategy to ensure audio overviews and study guides. It generates a deep and factual rather than generic. To build your mega prompt, I need clarity. I need to clarify 2 architectural details. Audience persona. Are you creating this for high net worth investors? I would say yes. Output, or do you want the prompt to generate structured source list? URLs, PDF types to upload first, or comprehensive master notes. So at any rate, I don't even think you really need this because it's so easy to get a prompt and to start NotebookLM. But I wanted to make sure that I created this specific gem because I wanted it to have that information that I showed you guys on the new information for prompting that Google put out for 2026. But you can see I've got a gem that's for the new name of the company, as I told you, is Exponential System Support, or EXO. So I have a Google Systems Educator that tells us about all the tools we can use. You guys don't need to do this because you're not in my business. You have a whole different set of things that you would need. So I hope that you guys got something out of this. I'm going to be doing more of these becoming the architect of leverage webinars and showing you different tools that will help you. Again, I don't want you guys to be experts in AI. I want you to be experts in getting information, getting great information, shortening the amount of work that you have to do so you can focus on the things that are important, the belly to bellies, the actual what it takes to be a great realtor, right? It doesn't take, to become a great a user of AI to be a great realtor, but having great AI will help you to be a better and great realtor, right? So I hope this helped you. If you would like to meet with me on a one-to-one basis because you have questions that you'd like to ask me about, creating your notebook or whatever it might be, I make myself available to Rise. You guys are my tribe. So, I want to make sure that you get as much help from me as you can. I obviously have my own limits that I can do, but I'm certainly willing to sit down. If you're willing to learn, I want to help teach you. So I hope you got something out of this, and hope to see you again. I'll make sure that the next webinar that goes out, that it goes out to as many people as possible. And that if you can't make it, I'll always try to record it and send it to you. So thank you so much. If you made it all the way through this, thank you. I'm putting this on YouTube, so please subscribe to my channel if you can. All right, thanks.